Hey, what's up gamers? This is Anime Warlord and welcome back to Anime Warlord Games. And today, I'm going to be showcasing my censored versus uncensored collection of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Because as everybody knows, that Yu-Gi-Oh cards in Japan are way different than the ones over here in the USA. And yeah, I've been collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards for a really long time. I've been collecting since 2003. I was 6 years old in that year when I started collecting, and I'm 23 now. So yeah, a really long time. Alright, let's get this party started. So the first cards that I'm going to showcase are cards that you can only get in Japan and Japan alone. Alright, first up, we have a really iconic monster. As you all may know, this card is called Horn Imp. Now, I never understood why this card never made it over here to the US. It's a complete, utter mystery. Because when you open a starter deck Yugi, you will notice that there's Frail Imp inside. You're like, okay, there's the Frail Imp, but where the hell is the Horn Imp? Yeah, for some reason, they just completely ignored this card and just only released it on the Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG. Next is Ghoul with an Appetite. Now, I can see why this card never made it over here to the US, because if you look closely, his stomach kind of looks like a vagina. Next, speaking of iconic monsters, here's Tristan's personal favorite, as you all know. It's the Cyber Commander. Yeah, buddy. I found this individual card off of eBay for like about $5. $5 for this card. I was expecting the Cyber Commander to be like about 50 because when I bought him, he was in mint condition. But nah, I got this bitch for like about $5. So that's a steal, bro. Next is White Dolphin, and I've seen this card before in numerous Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games, particularly Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards, and now I have it in my possession. $15 for this card. Once again, not a bad deal. And finally, Wood Clown. And when you think about it, that really doesn't look like a clown. If you want my honest opinion, this card should have been called Wood Jester. That would have made more sense. Alright, now let's get on to the censored versus uncensored. Alright. Kicking things off is a very iconic card that I've seen have a decent amount of competitive play in the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that card is Ultimate Offering. So here's what it looks like in the US. And here's what it looks like in Japan. So yeah, this guy is just basically offering a blood sacrifice, hence giving it the name Ultimate Offering. Alright, next is Magic Jammer. This card is used in competitive play to this very day. Here's what the card looks like for the US. And here's what it looks like for Japan. As you can see, the circle is representing a pentagram. And in the US version, it is just basically a spellcaster circle, or whatever the hell that is. Next is Chorus of Sanctuary. Here's what it looks like in the US. And here's what it looks like in Japan. Now, one of the most baffling altars that Western Yu-Gi-Oh! Goes through are the religious ones. They will go well out of their way to remove anything that even remotely resembles a religious icon. For example, horns on the devils, gone. Halos on the angels, gone. Or anything that is associated with any sort of religion, they completely remove it. Alright. Next is the Book of Life. Here is the US version. And here is Japan's. And if you look closely, on the book, instead of the bird, you actually get the Egyptian cross, or an Ankh. All right, next. Ooh, this one is one of my personal favorites, especially for the design. All right. This is Lesser Fiend. Here's what it looks like in the US, and the US version almost makes it look like he's a four-armed muscular bear, compared to the Japanese version, where he is a four-armed Satan. Pretty badass, right? And I'll save that one for last. Alright, the next card is Spy C Spy. Now, this is the king, and I repeat, the king of Yu-Gi-Oh! Censorship, because when you pick up the Japanese version compared to the English one, it's kind of like playing a game of spot the differences. So here is the US, and here is Japan's. Yeah, see what I mean by this is the king of censorship right here? There's so many changes. So many changes for one single individual card. Jesus Christ. Alright, next is the OG Harpy Lady. Here is Japan's. And here is the US. Next is a very classic card called Premature Burial. And I'm not entirely too sure if this card still has competitive play in the game. I don't know. But I did see a lot of competitive play in the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's for sure. Here is the United States. And here is Japan's. Next is Dark Witch. US. And Japan. Next up is the Dark Magic Curtain. Here is the US. And here is Japan's. So if someone were to duel with a Dark Magician deck, I know a lot of players would include this card in their deck. They would either include it or exclude it. Either way, doesn't matter. Whatever floats your boat. Alright, next. Oops, got some cards mixed up. There we go. Next up is Foolish Burial. US. Japan. Alright, next is Dramatic Rescue. US. Japan. Alright, next is one of the most revealing Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards in the world. Actually, no. This is the most revealing Yu-Gi-Oh! Card in the world. It's called Water Omotics. US. Japan. It would honestly be pretty cool if they also included some nipples, but that's alright. Alright guys, so in the beginning of the showcase, you guys already know that I showcased the cards that you can get in Japan and Japan alone. Well, as it turns out, I forgot one because I had one more. And here's the card right here. That card is called Air Eater. And just like White Dolphin, I've seen Air Eater in a number of Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games too. Alright, next is Backup Soldier. US. Japan. And if you look closely, one of the backup soldiers has horns like the devil. Alright, next is a very iconic spell card, and that is Dianketo, the Cure Master. US. And Japan. Alright, next is Ejection Fairy Lily. Here's the US, and here's Japan's. And the funny thing is, sometimes Japan's version of the Ejection Fairy Lily can also resemble the one in the West too. So yeah, this one with the red crosses is kind of hard to come by. Alright, next is an iconic card called Soul Release. I've seen this card have competitive play in the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh! And of course, I've seen it have competitive play in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX too as well. What, did I see this card have some competitive play during 5Ds? I don't know, I can't remember. Alright, so here is the US version. And here is Japan's. Hey Metal Maniac, if you're watching this, I'm showcasing your waifu. Alright, next is Shield and Sword. Japan, US. Alright, and here's the second to last card, and that card is Harpy Queen. US and Japan. Alright gamers, you have reached the end, and here is the final card that I am showcasing. And that final card is Majigele Panda. Now, I've seen this card have a decent amount of competitive play, especially when it came to beast decks. But, you know, it kind of faded into irrelevance as Yu-Gi-Oh! Grew a little bit more popular and the cards got more competitive. So, yeah. Here's what it looks like in the US. He's just kicking his table in a fit of rage. I don't know why. Maybe his meal tasted like shit or something. Compared to the Japanese version, where it shows a very graphic depiction of domestic violence. As you can see, there is a mother panda and a child panda crying in fear. And when Konami was censoring Majigele Panda, they have actually claimed that head on this enraged panda's dresser, or whatever the hell that is actually the head of one of his own offsprings. So, yeah, this is a very violent, very scary card, and also very controversial. But at the same time, it's art. Can you blame it? So, there you have it, you guys. That was my censored versus uncensored collection of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, and I'm planning on to get more of these sometime in the near future because there's a lot of them. What was your favorite card that I showcased in today's video? Let me know in the comment section below. Well, thank you all so much for watching today's video. I'm Anime Warlord once again. Subscribe for more gaming videos on Anime Warlord Games, and as always, game on!